What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Create Above and Beyond, and today we're going to be automating the test of patience. Chances are, if you've played with Create Above and Beyond for really any amount of time, you probably know what the test of patience is, or at least you've heard about it before. But if you're not really sure what it is or where to find it, if we open up the quest book, it is in fact a quest, but it's not in any of these main chapters here. It's actually in the Market tab, and it's right down here. So you pay 50 silver coins, and you get this weird barrel that's called the Test of Patience with the fabled prize awaiting at the bottom. Now, this is a pretty interesting quest because it's really just a fun side quest that's a bit of a challenge where you're going to open a bunch of barrels and eventually you're going to get a cool reward. But it's a little bit difficult because the odds of getting that reward are roughly 1 in 2.4 million. So you got to open a lot of barrels or you got to be really lucky, which of course I am not. So today we're going to be setting up an automated thing right over here to open these barrels, take all the loot out of them, and then place down the subsequent barrel and keep going. So the first thing that we need to do is actually get this barrel out of here. So we got to pay 50 coins and we got to grab the Test of Patience. Now, I do not want to mess up with this barrel because as you progress through, you're going to open more and more and more barrels. And so I just want to put this down once the setup is totally ready to go and really hope that I did it all correctly. So the goal today is to make an extremely efficient, compact setup to run this because even opening this at like a barrel a second, it's going to take 28 days to actually get through what would give you roughly a 100% chance of getting it. So to get through roughly 2.4 million barrels. What we're going to set up today is going to get roughly that speed, and it's still going to take a while. So I want it to be compact, not taking up a bunch of space, and we can just come over here every episode and check, did we get the reward or did we not? So we're going to make it right here. And the first thing that we need to do is decide where we want the barrel to be broken by the drill and where we want it to be placed down by the deployer. So I'm thinking because this is going to be a decently long setup, we can probably just start it like let's start it like right over here is probably good. So let's say this is where we want the barrel to go. So I'm just going to break this and we can actually put down a smart chute there. And so we'll put this right there. And that's one of the integral parts of this setup. Now we're going to put down our drill right over here facing on top of the smart chute. And then the deployer needs to place down the barrels on this smart chute too. So the deployer acts 2 blocks in front of it. So we got to place it 2 blocks over here. Now this will place down the barrel on top of the smart chute, which at this moment would empty everything out of the barrel. And then this would break it. So we're eventually going to set a filter for this smart chute. And I'm just going to dig down here real quick because below this smart chute, we're going to put down a drawer. And this drawer is eventually going to be for holding regular barrels because every time we eventually take everything out of a Test of Patience barrel and then break it, we're going to get a regular barrel back. So this is going to act as like a pseudo counter for how many barrels we've broken so far in the entire process. And we're just going to want to put some storage upgrades in there so that it's able to hold all the barrels. Now, I'm just going to throw all of these in there for now. That's about a 5,000 stack limit, which should be enough for a while, but we'll probably end up exceeding that before we actually get our reward. So right now we've got this extremely basic setup going right here to simply break the barrel, place down another barrel, and take everything out of the barrel. But obviously it's not hooked up together yet, so it's not really going to work. But before we get into more details about this, we should place down the Test of Patience barrel and take a look at what's inside, because that's what's going to make this setup a lot more complicated than it otherwise would be. So we get a piece of paper, welcome Challenger, and then we get another barrel. Now this is the next barrel that we're going to place down. So we would take this out, we'd take the paper out, and now this barrel is basically dead to us. Now this barrel right here is the next one in the chain, and this contains another barrel and another piece of paper. Now there's a lot of different kinds of sayings you can get on the paper, and they'll be randomized. You can get apples in here, puffer fish, and cookies, I believe, and then a bunch of different kinds of paper. And obviously these don't stack, which is a little bit of an issue. So then we take this barrel out, and if we were to place this down over here, it's an apple, another piece of paper with even more text on it, which again can't stack, and another barrel, and so on and so forth. And then when we break these barrels, these ones stack because they're just regular barrels. Now, I don't know if this one stacks. It does not. Now, this is just a test of patience barrel. And so this one is kind of dead to us. So we're going to get rid of that. And right here, these barrels are going to be filtered for this smart chute down here. But we need to set a very specific filter for this. So we're going to grab out an item filter, and we're going to use this because we're still going to only filter barrels. But in here, we're going to put this barrel in here, and we're going to set this to respect data. And this is important because it's going to match the other attributes about this barrel, including what's actually inside it. So when these barrels end up being broken, they will fall down into this smart chute. And I need to make sure that is, yep, it's on allow. So they'll fall into this smart chute and then into this drawer. The reason we need that filter, though, is because when we place down the barrels, they're all going to contain a barrel in them. And if we set this filter to just be barrels and not respecting the data, well, then the barrels that are inside, like let's say this barrel right here, they're going to fall right through, and we don't want them coming down here. Now, the area we want them coming to is going to be right here into this deployer. So we're going to clear out an area right back here, and it should just be 4 long. We might end up extending this 1 in either direction, but it should just be this long. And we're going to put down a shaft right here, 1 right here, and we're going to connect a belt to bring these together. Now, the barrel is still going to be right here, and I guess we should probably let's put down a piece of dirt just so that we can visualize this. So the barrel's right here. We're going to grab out a brass funnel, and we're going to put that right here. Now, this is going to pull everything out, and I'm using brass because I don't know if anything in here later on is ever going to be in stacks, but if it's an andesite funnel, that's going to be an issue because it'll pull things out one at a time. Now, most things that are in the barrels, as we saw, are just a single item at a time, but if there's eventually, I think there's like a bunch of enchanted books and gold coins and stuff in the final one, if we're getting multiple stacks of those, we need to pull them out full stacks at a time really, really quickly before the barrel is broken. So pulling out a full stack is important. So use a brass funnel. Even though we don't need to set a filter on this, we want everything in the barrel coming out here. Now, right here, we're going to have a brass funnel going into the deployer. And this one's going to be set to a barrel. Now, we don't need to respect any of the data on this. We actually don't want it to, because we want any barrel that gets pulled out from inside another barrel to end up going back in here, because those are always going to be the next barrel that needs to be placed down. So right now we've got the broken barrels being stored down here as a sort of pseudo counter. We've got all the items being pulled out of the just broken barrel over with a barrel going in here. So the only things left are going to be paper with a bunch of different things written on it so they can't stack. And then all the other miscellaneous things like pufferfish, apples, cookies, and whatnot. So we'll deal with the miscellaneous stuff first. So we're going to do a drawer controller right over here. And if you don't know about a drawer controller, basically you put a bunch of items into this and it will drop them into any adjacent storage drawer that's connected. So we've got another 7 drawers right here. I probably want more to make this look nicer, but in theory, I should really only need 3 with cookies, pufferfish, and apples. And then however many I expect to need for the other rewards. So let's say, I put down an additional 2 on the side and expect, gold coins and then something else. Now, I need to make more of these, and I probably need, to feel safe, maybe like another 5 more, because I really don't know what is in that final barrel. It could be completely full, in which case I might want to add a little bit of like a sort of a buffer on the end of this, where if these are all full, it does have somewhere to go. But for now, as far as I know, it's just some gold and enchanted books, so getting a couple more of these should be fine. But we have a place for them to go now, and we're just going to put down, again, I think we could probably honestly do an andesite funnel here, so we'll test that out. But I don't know about picking up. I don't know if andesite funnels can only take 1 at a time. I think they can pick up as many as you put in, but I think that they can only output 1 at a time. So I'm going to test that out. I think we should be okay with an andesite funnel because we don't need to filter anything here. And then we're going to come down here, and I'll just make a little staircase, but we're going to come down here and not let this dirt back up our system. And we're going to put down another smart chute, and we're actually going to grab out my Edelwood lava bucket. Now, I'm really glad I recollected the lava from last episode, because I do need a bit of lava today, and I would have totally forgotten this was on the list, but we're going to put the lava right here. We're going to put a smart chute right here, and we're going to take a piece of paper, whatever piece we want, and we're going to put it right there. And this should not respect any of the data, so any piece of paper should just fall down there. So if we dump this right here, Yep, there it goes. And let's just check another one that doesn't actually match the text. Is it going to go there? Did this not drop it into the lava? Is it still sitting in there? Oh, is it actually respecting some of the data on these for some reason? I can't tell. Why are they not going on the belt system right there? That is so weird. Does it think there's something on the belt there right now? It did. Why does it think there's something on the belt there right now? Do you guys hear that? Let's all be really quiet and listen to this. Watch. It sounds like it's picking it back up. There's nothing on the belt there. Why is it doing that? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, they all went down there. That's why it wasn't letting me. It's not that it was respecting the data of it. It thought there was something on the belt there, but there wasn't. And it's still, okay, that's super weird. It's like a ghost block on the belt, and it's not actually in my inventory, right? It's not like a bug. Nope, it's not invisible in any of the slots. Wow, that is super weird. Okay, well, now this is just going to ditch those notes. Now, I don't think there's any important notes. If there is, and it's like the secret to the universe, then you know what? The pack devs, the create team played a really good prank on me, and I will never know that because it's just going to get dropped down there and fall into nothing. But I don't think there's anything important, and it starts repeating. Eventually, if you did want to store all of these, you could, because it starts repeating eventually, and a lot of that is because they would have had to have written all of these out on their own. So there's a lot of them, and they're pretty sassy sometimes. It's kind of like egging you on. Like, I think the game Getting Over It, how the narrator kind of makes quips at you while you're going when you fall. That's like, oh, don't give up. You only just wasted an hour of your life, right? That's basically these, where you'll open up, I think, like 16,000 barrels, and you'll get one that says, wow, you've come a long way, but you've got longer to go. So I'm fine ditching them, but if there's an important one, well, then that's just going down there. So we can just cover this back up. This really is not important to have down there. Over here, this one, I don't really need. A lot of people say to use this just for if you ever need barrels. And obviously, I use barrels a lot. Like a lot. But I don't have a shortage of wood in my base somewhere, so I'm not really itching to use this. So really, it's just going to be as a counter for me, and I'd love it if I could make this translate into Nixie tubes somewhere, but I don't know if that's possible. So I might see about that. I know that drawers have like a redstone output, but that caps at like 15, so I don't know if we can actually do it, but I might try and see, because that'd be really cool if we could have like a Nixie tube setup that reads how many barrels we've broken. But either way, we can leave this open for now just to verify that it works, and I will get this dirt back. So the barrel will go there. And other than that, it's really just going to be wiring these together. And it's been requested by some people that I kind of go through this a bit on camera. So we're going to do it right now. So I don't know if this is the cleanest way to do this, but we're just going to bring a gearbox over here. And then we're probably going to link these up just like this, get the dirt back, and we'll do some cogwheels. Direction only matters for this belt. So we'll do cogwheel, and then we will do another large cogwheel right here off of these, and then we will do a shaft. Now, the reason I'm setting it up this way is because we need specific speeds for these. Now, we want the drill to go fast, but we don't want the drill to go so fast that it breaks the barrels before this has a time to pull them out. So we want the deployer to place down at 256, we want the belt to pull stuff out at 256, and we want the drill to break it at 128. Any slower and we're wasting time. Any faster and we risk not pulling everything out. So that's what I found to be the perfect ratio. Again, if the final barrel has like 15 things in it, then we might still have an issue. But either way, as far as I know, it doesn't have that many things. So doing 128 for this, 256 for everything else should work fine. So we're going to have this gear from over here going 256 right here, cut in half to the drill. And then we should be good to come down here under this deployer. And we're just going to put down a shaft right here. And I need to actually be able to click it onto that belt right there. So we'll just come over here. There we go. And then we're just going to use 2 cogwheels to bring it up here. So just like that. And then all we're going to do is I'm probably going to go sleep, but then I am going to put down a rotation speed controller. I should have one of those because we're upping it from water wheels to 256. And we're going to place that down right here. And then we're going to input to the large cogwheel on the top of this. And then the output will be on the side there. And all we'll do is scroll this up to 256. And we'll make sure that this is the correct direction. I'm going to put the water wheels down right back here like so. I can do that right now. And we'll just do, I guess we should probably break, nope, not break that one, but we need to break this and all these over here. I don't know if we actually need 6 water wheels or not, but I'm going to go with 6 to be safe. And then I guess technically I should cover this up back here and break these because these need to be soul sand. So we'll put down the water wheels like this, and then we'll grab out our soul sand. And here I should still have it in my inventory. And then we will fill that up in the back right here. And I'm going to decorate this to make it look nicer later all around here because it's kind of looking a little bit gross as I always do. But I'm not too concerned with that right now. So the water's just going to flow down here in the front. And I can always use... It'd probably look pretty stupid, but I might honestly just use a bunch of barrels in the back here to go around this, but that could look kind of stupid. So maybe I'll just, I don't actually know. I'll see, but I'm going to go sleep so I don't get killed by something, and then we'll finish that off. Okay, well, I think that is all good to go. So it took me about half a day to get this all set up because I totally forgot that if I set these up, and I just ended up using some trapdoors, but I went and I put down the soul sand, put the first layer of water down, and then went to put the second down and ended up waterlogging a bunch of trapdoors. So I had to put down dirt and then put down the top layer and then the second layer. And here we are. So it is now running. It is at 256 RPM on this, which as you can see, runs this one at 128 and this one at 256. Now the thing is, the belt is running at 256, which is great. It's super, super quick, but it's going in the wrong direction. So we got to go and make this negative 256. And like I said, the only thing that's relevant is the direction of the belt. It doesn't matter the direction of the drill. It doesn't matter the direction of the deployer. And I should be good to just kind of fill that in. And so I think everything is good to go. So if I were to drop this barrel onto this right here, it should work. Now I'm just going to verify that if I drop dirt on there, it makes it into this system. Okay, because I'd be very sad right now if it went into my lava pit down there. So that is in fact filtered. So if I drop this on here, it should start. If I screwed something up, we'll find out very quickly. There we go. Now, I think one got kicked out down there when it first started, but that should not happen. So it's working. Now, there's not always stuff that's in here, but if we look, we're at 10 barrels, 11 barrels. Now, this one down here is just another regular barrel, so this can get put right down there. But it's working, and yeah, it's occasionally getting kicked out, so we can always lower the speed a little bit if we want to, and that should fix that. I don't necessarily know if I want to or not. It's sometimes just a little bit buggy with how the deployer places the barrel down. But that issue doesn't frequently happen. I tested this for a while and it didn't actually happen. So I think we might just keep it at 256 and, you know, an occasional barrel or two might get kicked out at us. But it just happens when it places it down at kind of a weird speed when it hasn't fallen in there yet. But we'll just have to make sure that none of them end up falling onto here, which is why we'll end up kind of covering this stuff up appropriately, and it should be good. And then if we look over here, we can see that we've got 3 cookies, 2 motivational apples, and 1 motivational puffer. I guess this is a motivational cookie, motivational puffer fish. And if we look down here, we've got 50 barrels so far. Wow, a lot of barrels are coming out on this. The timing is kind of weird between these then, I guess, because I did not have this issue when I initially tested it. That is super strange. Huh. I'm not really sure what's up with that. It might be that the deployer needs to be slowed down a little bit too. So we can always adjust this. How about if we do, what if we do this? So if we want the deployer to go at the same speed as the barrel, but we still need these to go at a fast speed. So if we wanted that to go at 256, but this to slow down, we should be good to just get rid of these. We'll do some live problem solving on camera. Crazy, right? So if we were to put down a shaft over here just to test this out, and then did small cogwheel into large cogwheel, would this fix the issue? Yeah, so it doesn't break it too fast. This still goes at 256. Yeah, so that should be fine. And then we can just kind of get rid of this right here. Does that fall on the belt? Yes, it does, but we get it back over here still. That's fine. Okay. So there we go. That should fix the issue of the barrels not going right down there because they get a chance to fall down still. Okay. Yep, there we go. So that issue's solved, and we can just kind of fill this in down here. And like I said, I will decorate this later, but you really don't get a ton from it until you get the actual reward. And so just to make sure we have enough for the reward, I am going to expand this by... Can I properly place these down on top of this here? I want to orient them correctly, but I don't want to accidentally access any of these bottom ones. Trying to jump and shift at the same time is rough. Okay, there we go. So we've got plenty in here now that it should be able to collect everything. And if we look over here, we can see the counter is already almost at 2 stacks. Now, this will do about 40 barrels a minute. So it's not exactly 1 barrel every second, but it's pretty close. It's about 10 barrels every 15 seconds, 40 barrels a minute. What is that, like 2,400 every hour? And it should, in theory, take roughly like 30, I want to say like 33 days maybe to potentially get 100% chance of getting this, but that's obviously that many hours of real lifetime in the game. So AFKing in the game for that long to get a roughly 100% chance of getting it if the odds are correct. Now, obviously, you could be really unlucky and not actually get that because as far as I am aware, this is a loot box sort of thing. So you don't actually need to open 2.4 million of them. You just need to get lucky. So who knows? We'll check back every episode and see if we did get lucky on this. We'll see what the count is, and I'll spruce this up a bit off camera, but I think that's going to be it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode, and be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you did, and I will talk to you guys later.